Hey folks, welcome to the Works Local Racing Roundup. We're really glad to have you with us tonight. Hope you enjoy the show, and I think we have Greg way over there. I see you, but it feels like you're more than an arm's length away, but that's all right. No, you're all right. Just stay right where you are. We have got a star-studded full lineup tonight, man.
We do. Got some great drivers here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You guys
lucky. I don't know about great.
All I can say is for such a short season, with just 6 races, why it was still a pretty eventful year and a lot of good racing that we got to see at Lakeside. And I know all the fans were just thankful to have the opportunity to be able to see some racing out there.
Honestly, we're lucky that Lakeside got to race at all. You guys did a heck of a job over there getting it pumped out and cleaned up.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I can't take credit for it because I was so busy on other stuff.
What is that? We've got somebody's cell phone going crazy.
Somebody left their cell phone on.
Anyway, like I say, welcome to the Works, folks, and we're just going to have a little fun tonight and talk a little bit about racing and people that have reached the pinnacle of their sport for this year. And as you can see, we've got 2 guests here at the table. To my immediate left, we've got Shawn Burns, and just to the other side, and Shawn was the E-Mod champion at Lakeside, and just to his left is Don Mars, who was the Grand National champion. So where should we start? Greg, you want to fire off with a question there?
Well, we'll talk to Don. I want to congratulate you on such a great effort, not only with Lakeside, but bringing the Grand National division back to Lakeside. And they started off a little slow, but the car count went up before the season ended, and you got a lot of good cars and a lot of great racing in that division. Congratulate you, won the points in that division. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, do you anticipate the division coming back this year?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, you know, I've kept it going for quite a few years, waiting for the guys to come. And you know, the way the schedule is for this coming year, there's 3 races at the beginning of the year, and those are going to determine how many races the Grand Nationals get this coming year. Because if they just don't come, it's going to be a limited schedule. So I hope the guys come.
Well, some of those cars they're fading away. You know, well, I know you have a race booked with the late models, the Cash Money Series. Do they come to Lakeside this year?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's more about a limited late model class as they come, and I'm glad you're having them.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a learning curve to decide how to make this Grand National division survive, and it's been a mainstay at Lakeside for many, many years.
Well, yeah, and you know, when the rules were opened up years ago, and really the Grand National motors are kind of expensive to build if you want to be competitive, and so I think that's one of the problems. It's kind of like the A-mods have gotten so expensive, and you know, those classes are, you know, kind of hurting guys money-wise, and these other classes like this E-mod and these stock car classes and stuff, you know, it's such a neat deal, you know.
Well, it's fun racing a motor like that.
Have that little extra horsepower,
especially at Lakeside,
in your back pocket.
Yeah.
But you had 3 wins, and you were 30 points over Darren Kling, and he'd not raced in I think a year or 2 on a regular basis, but nonetheless he came out strong and made a real good challenge for the championship. Did you have during your run in the season for the championship, did you feel competition from any driver in particular?
Well, from Darren mainly. I mean, Darren's a really good driver, and he's got good equipment too. But yeah, I mean, there was a couple of those races that, you know, he was out in front of me most of one race, and I really had to get after it to figure something out, or he's going to win this race.
And he was pretty much hugging that bottom, as I
Yeah,
recall.
he always does.
He was hanging right around the bottom, and you were mid-track on up.
Yeah,
And,
he always. Well, in the first race, my car was actually fast. We had stagger in it, and they were old tires, so we put new tires on, and I really didn't pay much attention, but we didn't have stagger in it.
Oh,
so
really?
the car was pushy, and so, you know, I really have to keep stagger in that car some. I mean, yeah, it was better on the old tires with stagger than it was with the new tires.
I know you're friends with Terry Bivens, and I'll tell you a story about way back in time. Terry raced at the old Lakeside, and I had a race car that just would not turn and get down the end of the straightaway and just push up toward the wall, and of course couldn't figure it out. I had Terry drive it one night, and he came in after the heat race, and he says, "You need to take these big old humpers." We ran these huge tires back then. He said, "Put the right rear on the left rear and the left rear on the right rear." And I had about 6 inches of a reverse stagger.
Wow.
Holy mackerel.
And then he got to turn.
Well, that'd be a chore.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of Terry over the years.
Oh, he's a very knowledgeable guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
Shawn, you also had pretty good year this year, too. In fact, according to the facts and figures that I have accumulated, I think you were the second most winning driver in the Kansas City area. And the only one that I know of that beat you, as far as wins goes, was Dylan Rafferty. And that kid had 24 wins this year.
That was insane.
Absolutely.
He dominated.
Yeah,
Boy, he
absolutely.
dominated. We had, how do you say this? So I had 14 unofficial and 12 official wins. We had some issues with some fuel in a couple races. But what I'm probably most proud of in that aspect is that I'm the only driver to win at 4 out of the 5 Mocan tracks.
And you were trying for that other one. I know you
Well,
were.
I almost got it.
Yeah. That was Bethany, right?
No, I won at Bethany. I didn't win at US 36.
I thought 36. Okay.
And I ran second at the Nationals.
Yeah.
And I was trying. If Justin had screwed up, I'd have got my win. It was great. But no, I mean, we had a great season. Nothing to complain about. You know, we started off at Valley because of the flood, and ended up finishing 4th in points there, even after missing the 6 last nights that they ran. And then we ran CMS, of course, for the Top Gun series. Had a good run. Ran 5 out of the 7 races at CMS I won. We really liked that place. And then I'm not sure, but I won twice at Lakeside this year. One was because of a DQ, and I was running second. And then I actually won, and it might have been the closest race in history at Lakeside, because it was 1/100th of a second. Is always separating me and Stephen Makar.
Makar, that's what I was going to say. I thought it was the Makar race.
That's pretty close.
And it was close. Somebody told me they estimated it was 2.5 inches.
That's close.
And it was. It was close. Neither one of us knew until they come over the radio and said it. And then it was funny watching your video. You could hear them talking about it, and somebody yells, "Well, who won?" And they come over, waiting on the transponders to read. And then did. So yeah, it was a good season.
I was going to say, we're not supposed to pick up those officials, Don. I'm sorry.
Well, there was a lot of drivers relieved when you did go back to Lakeside. You had a good point lead at Valley on Friday night.
I never actually had the lead.
Did you?
No, I was
so
12.
close.
When I left, I was 12 points behind Kit.
Right, you and Kit were battling.
Me and Kit battled. We battled all season. He got the best of me the first part of the season, and I ended up not being able to race a race because my son got married, and there was 14 points that separated me and him in the Mocan series. So that was a lot of fun, and me and Kit had a lot of fun with it. So
Right.
That was a lot of fun, and I'm excited because I think the Mocan series is even going to get bigger and better next year.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I always have to ask when somebody wins a points championship that when the season started, and I can ask both of you, you can take turns answering, but when the season started, did you anticipate? I mean, was this when you sat down and said, you know what, I want to win a points championship this year. I want to win that one at Lakeside. Did you anticipate anything like that?
Had you won a points championship before, Don?
No.
Yeah, this was my first two.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, did I sit down at the beginning of the year and set goals for myself? Absolutely. Yeah. Did I want a Lakeside championship? Sure, I did. I wanted the Mocan also, being first year and all, and I really wanted the Top Gun series. Those were my big three goals. I got one of them. Never expected to do some of the other stuff that we did. So all in all, we were pretty happy with it. Do I want to go out and win another one, or maybe 2 or 3 next year? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, because unfortunately for me and Don both, it's always going to be known as a short season.
Yeah.
So
there's an asterisk.
Yeah, exactly.
Asterisk.
So it's always going to be known as a short season.
Yeah.
So
what about you, Don?
Well, I thought there was a possibility. You know, last year we ran well, and this year we have a good motor. We've run junk in the past, and last year we popped a motor, and if it hadn't been for that in that race, we would have won it last year. But this year, I went on and we put a good motor together. We had good equipment, and so I thought, yeah, you know, we ran good last year, ran well, so we should have a good chance of winning it this year. And, you know, just worked out.
Yeah. Going back to yours, Shawn, talking about the Mocan, I can understand why a person would want to win that. And the reason being, it's 5 tracks. I mean, I think sometimes people get locked in on points races at certain tracks, and that's all you do. But when you've got to go to 5 tracks, I mean, there's a little bit different setup or whatever for each track, driving style, everything. That's got to be a lot tougher.
I can tell you I'm tired of changing gears. I changed a lot of gears this year between them all. And because me and Kent were so close, or Kit, excuse me, we're so close, there were nights that I had to go. I just, because I knew he was going. So I couldn't let him get out. So there were nights that we got rained out at one place and ended up somewhere else because we just had to be there. You know,
well, you guys need quick change.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Really?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
That's another what, $2,000? Or
Yeah,
what?
no. Well, I got enough gears. We could swap and do it, but it's. I like the class the way the class is.
I was surprised that B-Mod's got the quick change.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I was too.
You know.
Yeah, I was too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Greg, you got a question you want to ask, buddy?
Well, I can't even imagine racing without a quick change and changing gears. I mean, when I was younger, we used to change those 3/4 ton pumpkins up into those things, but man, that quick change makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have quick change, do you, John? In the Grand National?
No, and actually on the lift, I can change a gear in 15 minutes or less.
Right. Well, you need a lift.
On the lift.
On the lift.
Well, it takes me about 25, and I don't have a lift. Yeah, I'm underneath it, and you know, it's always funny because it's you know we get out of Lakeside fairly decent time, but by the time you get home, you stop and get something to eat, whatever. It's midnight, 1 o'clock, and I'm back up at 9 o'clock to make sure that I can get this thing changed and do whatever other stuff I need to do. It's a tough go.
Yeah.
But it was fun. We had we had a lot of fun.
Well, winning's fun.
Well, a little bit more
It
than
is.
that.
I mean,
but-
it just is, you know.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Shawn, I wanted to ask you. I'm sorry, Greg. You have a
Oh,
question?
I was going to say, I think the E-Mod is the answer to local level modified racing, and that it was great to have them at Lakeside. It's great to have them at Valley Speedway, and it was great to see you and Kit racing so hard side by side. And I'm sure Kit's glad that you went on the Lakeside.
I meant to speak to that earlier. I think, Shawn, it shows what a good person you are, I guess, in that you showed your loyalty to Lakeside. Here you were in a pretty good tights race at Valley, but yet you stopped that points race and went to Lakeside for it. Of course, it paid off for you. You ended up winning the points championship. But I think it shows something about your person.
You know, that was just a decision. We committed to running the Top Gun series. Mm-hmm. And with that being at Lakeside, I mean, that was a deciding, because we said, I mean, we knew it was a couple weeks out. Actually, I was out there Memorial Day, the week before Memorial Day, and it looked like they were going to get it. We were going to go racing again.
That's right.
And
right.
You know, I mean, the racetrack looked good, and I was like, hey, we're going to get ready to go racing.
Happen.
This is going to be all right.
Yeah.
And then the second flood happened, and then I'm going, oh, well, what are we going to do about this? And my first question, and I talked to Pete, was, what about the Top Gun? What are we going to do? What's going to happen? Because that was it was one of my goals.
Uh-huh.
So that helped make that decision. I don't know, had the Top Gun series not happened, if we would have made that decision.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, because all I wanted to do was win a championship.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm happy it's Lakeside. Everybody knows Lakeside. All my sponsors know Lakeside.
Right.
There are people all around this country that know Lakeside.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm honored to have won a championship there.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a bucket list, and I'm glad it's checked off.
Yeah.
But that was definitely a deciding factor.
Yeah.
The extra money.
Yeah. Okay. Don, I got a good one for you. You ready for this?
Maybe.
If you didn't own Lakeside, I mean, if we could, this is kind of hypothetical, I guess, but if you didn't own Lakeside, what would you tell someone as a racer why they should race at Lakeside?
Why they should race at Lakeside?
Yeah. Strung that out, but that's the main question.
Well, I don't know that I would. I mean, everybody makes their own decision on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess if I was just talking to somebody about Lakeside, I'd say it's a really, it always has been a pretty well ran speedway, and it's got a lot of speed. If you like speed, then you would like it. You know, of course, everybody.
Yeah.
I like running short tracks too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you know.
You've had a lot of success at CMS this year too.
Well,
You've done really well.
I mean, I like short tracks too, but of course, I like Lakeside a lot. So I guess I really wouldn't tell somebody that they would. You know, I would just say, I think you would like it, but you may not.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody.
Well, to me,
has different feelings
You
about
didn't try too hard. I'd like to race at Lakeside.
it. Come on.
You got a car I could use?
Yeah, I'll get you one.
Some of it to me, Don, is the competition. I mean, I don't think you're going to go anywhere else and find the competition that you're going to have at Lakeside. I mean, CMS is tough. I'm not really knocking anybody, okay, but I'm just saying, to me, these are the things that Lakeside has stood for years: competition, reputation. Greg, add into anything you think of about Lakeside here.
Well, yeah, the reputation is huge. The history alone. I mean, to have your name in records of racing at Lakeside is a huge deal.
Just like Shawn just said, checked it off my bucket list.
Well, and a lot of the reason is because there's always been good racers at Lakeside.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got guys like Patrick Royalty. I mean, you know, but you know, there's always been a lot of good.
Yeah.
I mean, fast racers.
And one other that I can think of is sponsors just love Lakeside. I think they see the fact that they're going to get more exposure at Lakeside than they will at a lot of other tracks. But like I said, I guess it's those three things mostly to me.
Well, I mean, and goes with the facility.
Yeah.
I mean, you always have the largest people count.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's crowd and fans.
We have a great fan base.
Yeah, great fan base. I mean, because I will tell you, for me, not growing up in Kansas City, not coming to Lakeside until 10 or 11 years ago, and I won my very first race at Lakeside, which it's still, again, bucket list stuff. But I feel like an outsider because it is so history with prestige that place, and I'm racing against guys that have been going to that racetrack since they were 2 and 3 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
And their whole life.
Well, yeah. 12, maybe.
Their dads and their granddads. Right?
12.
People always are saying,
yeah.
people are always saying, well, do you remember when he did that? And I'm going, no, I don't, because
Yeah.
you know, so I've always felt a little bit like an outside,
Yeah.
Or outlaw there.
Shawn, I
outsider.
know
You are an outlaw.
I am an outlaw. I said that wrong.
Yeah.
I know you're a St. Louis guy, but would you compare it to like Granite City if you were Kansas City versus St. Louis?
You know, yeah. I mean, my very first race was at Highland, Illinois. My second race was at Tri-City Speedway in Granite City. I got to run on the half mile one time. It was much flatter and didn't carry the speed that Lakeside carries. So for me, even not being from this area, I know the history of Lakeside. I'm glad I got my first win there. I'm glad I'm a champion from Lakeside Speedway. I mean, those are all pretty cool things.
I'm going to direct this to you, Shawn, because I think the Grand National class is kind of pretty well set. Most of the competitors that race that have raced it for quite a while. But I'm going to ask you, Shawn, who is the best young E-Mod driver in the class right now?
Oh, I think there's several actually.
Okay.
You know, you can't. I mean, Stephen Makar's in that class.
Yes.
Trevor Hand's in that class.
Yes. And he beat you a couple, if I remember right.
Beat me a couple.
Valley and
Lakeside
and
both.
Lakeside
Oh
both.
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Trevor, had it not been for the DQ, I don't know that I could have beaten him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm traditionally always better on the slick. He is very good on the tacky.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways.
Right.
I'm definitely a short track guy too.
Right.
But you got Casey Atwood up at 36.
Uh-huh.
Justin Asher.
Yes, sir.
I mean, there's I mean, you can't ever rule out Kit Bailey.
All right.
You know, you got Gary Don Ainsworth. I mean, there's 10, 12 guys that can win any night.
Any night.
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely.
And that's only getting better.
Right.
I mean, you got guys coming down from Iowa to run Bethany in 35 and US 36.
Yes.
Cody Parrott ran second, won twice at Bethany. This kid, that's his first year racing.
Right.
I mean, so it's not as easy class as people think it is.
No, it's not.
It's
not.
getting tougher and tougher every year.
Yeah. Don, it takes more than you to make Mars Racing happen. Who is it every week that helps get you to the track?
Well, I've got my old retired guys.
I was going to say.
They're my age, about a little older, I guess.
Yeah. They're not climbing
They're
trees
actually
like you are.
retired. I've got John Berry and Rick Dixon and Tom Davidson. Those are the main guys, and then of course Donna lets me do all this fun stuff.
Thank you, Donna.
But those are the main guys.
That's
you
the
know.
main bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And of course, Terry Bruner runs out of our shop, and he's there helping me a lot. A lot of time. There have been times I wouldn't have been able to make it to the racetrack if it wasn't for Terry, getting in there and helping us too. So,
Okay.
you know, it's
Okay. Greg, I'm going to let you read the paragraph on Shawn's, if you would, please.
Well,
The long paragraph.
yeah, okay. I think right after the season started, you and your wife took off on a monumental task in your personal life off the track, and that will certainly overshadow whatever you accomplish on the track. You're raising 2 grandkids right now, so I've got 6. 2 in your house, right?
Yeah,
They're
well,
with you?
and they're twins, and they're 3.
Oh boy.
Yeah, since June 3rd of this year, we took custody of Carol's stepdaughter's twin grandbabies. Had no idea that the situation had gotten as bad as it had. Are blessed and are amazed every day at how resilient these children are. It's truly a blessing. If you were at the car banquet, you've seen my grandson grab the championship trophy. He was more excited about it than I am, and I think I always said that my grandpa got me into racing, and it looks like I'm doing the same thing. I wish he would have taught me golf. It'd have been a whole lot cheaper. But it looks like I'm doing the same thing. It looks like I'm doing the same thing to John, because Jonathan had last night told me that I mean, this is the first time he said it, but last night he told me, I'm going to race Grandpa like you.
Huh.
So it's amazing to think that when they,
great.
yeah, it's amazing to think, and you were there the first time they got to be in Victory Lane with me at Valley. But it amazes me 6 months ago they weren't speaking, they weren't potty trained. I mean, you can sit down and talk to John now. He'll tell you all about his papaw race car. We're honored, we're blessed to be able to be that influence. But has it been life changing? Oh my God, has it ever? We are always worn out.
Make sure and read that last part.
That makes it you two like incredible winners in life, and the highest award of mankind can award to another person. Award of love, kindness, and dedication. Only grandparents know anything about. And I was raised by people taking me to the races. My dad, my grandpa, my uncles, and I think you're on the right track.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That means a lot. Thank you.
But there again, Shawn, we're at the part here where we end up these interviews, but great sponsors, helpers, family. Tell us who they are.
Well, it was funny when I left the house, my wife says, you never thanked me. Because I've never thanked her in Victory Lane.
Now's your chance, bud.
I've thanked everybody else, but I haven't thanked her. But first and foremost, my wife for allowing me to do this and being my biggest fan. She is my sponsor because she takes care of all this. She's the one that has helped me to learn how to build the relationship with Valvoline and Go Parts. She, 15 minutes before I got here, sent me a text of all of my sponsors just to remind me. So I couldn't do this
Oh, right, that whole list.
that
Okay,
whole
go ahead.
yeah, that whole list.
Go ahead.
GoParts.com, Valvoline, Tony's Jewelers, AESKC.biz, Stagecoach Tavern. Asylum Race Cars has been amazing to me this year with help with setup and updates and things like that. Who Gives a Shuck Pearl Parties, Lisa Burlington Photography, Schweitzer Performance, KG Built Designs, Ushery Auto Bodies, Cheater Heater Race Engines, Alliance Racewear, Dirt Life, and JD Lawson Media. And without one of them, I couldn't do it. Then I have Kenny Matthews helps me throughout the week and has been my crew chief for years and started running his own E-Mod this year. So we didn't have him all season, but we had him part of the season. Chris Moore and J.D. Wagner were my help this year and did an amazing job. So, yeah, pretty awesome.
But can't you change the third member?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, they can now.
All right.
All right, guys. Anybody got anything else they want to say? Okay.
Well, I think that this summer, 2020, Lakeside Speedway, you want to see some great racing action on a Friday night.
Yep.
You seeing
There it
two of the
is.
great drivers here. We got more in the house.
E-Mods and Grand Nationals.
Positive note, they're starting on the dike, the levee.
Oh,
So,
really?
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, that is.
Some work is being done.
Yeah.
right now, so.
Yeah. I've often thought, I just wondered if you could put a levee around the racetrack.
Well, speaking of Terry Bivens,
I bet
that's what
there are-
Terry wants to do.
I would bet there would be people that would volunteer to work at it.
How was
Haul
the
dirt and everything.
how was the catfish out of that place?
I didn't get any of it.
Anyway, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so
Shawn,
much.
I appreciate it, man. Don,
Good to have you.
thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right.